people, and welcome back to this week's episode of Her Pod. I am your host. I was going to say founder. I guess I am your founder. I'm the founder of Her Pod. I'm also the host of Her Pod, and I am so excited to be here today with you for another week.
Her Pod.
Let's do life together. Thank you again for all the love on the podcast. I just adore you guys so much. I want to put it out there that I may be a bitch this afternoon. No, just put it out there. My vibe may be a little bit off. I'm someone who loves the routine. I'm someone that if I have a plan in my head, that's how the day's going to go. And if it doesn't go like that, I'm going to be pissed. I don't know, I'm such a planner. I'm such a this is what I'm going to do today. This is going to be my thing. And when things don't go as planned, I'm always this is so annoying. So I'm having one of those days, I think, which is fine, where we're on the upper end of it now. Basically, I obviously live at home, which is totally fine. My parents work full time, so they're kind of out and about throughout the day. But one of them came home during a meeting this morning, an important meeting that I was like, you knew what time that meeting was? Why are you walking through the door? Anyway, so it was fine. I was like, hi, it's so good to see you. This is bad timing. Anyway, the meeting went really well. I've got work to do, blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of just hung around for 3 hours. And I'm like, I need to film the podcast. I don't know. Does anyone else get in that mindset where they kind of think, and this is whatever, if you had said I'm coming home at that time, that's totally fine. I can work my day around it. I can make sure that I'm doing, but if you just spring things on me and it's not part of my invisible plan for the day, that's when I'm are you not following the invisible plan that I have in my head for the day? Why are you spraying from the plan? That's not how the day was supposed to go, which is totally fine. And it's so funny because I'm such a spontaneous person. I'm yes, let's go out and do this. This is totally fun. But when it's I don't know, part of my work or I need a bit of structure in the certain things, I'm you've ruined that. Oh, I don't really like that. I don't like unexpected. If it's a fun, hey, Lex, if someone was to ring me now and be hey, come down the beach, there's a whale, I'd be there, of course. What a fun, spontaneous thing. But if it's just you're hovering around the house when I've got things that need to be done, I'm come on. Come on, we've got things to be doing. I've got a secret schedule in my head that we're not following. So we're here now. I'm in my business attire because I've been having meetings all day, which again is annoying if there's someone. My thing is I'm an eavesdropper. I have always been an eavesdropper my whole life. I can't help it. If there's a conversation that's being had, I want to know. I'm such a I want to know girl. My brother, the best example I can give is I remember my mum had a red Range Rover, a Vogue, and my brother and I do week on, week off with dad and mum, and we do week on, week off. And I remember we were at dad's and we were in the week at dad's, and it must have been a Saturday or Friday night or a Saturday. And Fraser used to work at McDonald's, the fast food shop. We all know what McDonald's is. So Fraser used to work at McDonald's, and I used to pick him up from work because I'm a hero of a big sister. But I used to pick up my little brother from work, and one day we were at dad's solidly for a while, and usually I'd always pick my brother up in my car, obviously, because that's the car I drive. And one day I picked Fraser up from work while we were at dad's in mum's car, her Range Rover, and we drove the whole way home. It must have been a 20-minute drive home, and I got home and I was do you not wonder why I'm in mum's car? Does that not cross your mind of where's mum? Why does Lexy have mum's car when we're not at mum's? Where's mum? Is she okay? Lexi's got her car. Do you not care about that? If he's honestly, it does not affect me at all. I don't care. It didn't cross my mind once of why you were in mum's car. And I was the whole drive home, I was why aren't you wanting to know this extra information? Doesn't that blow your, anyway. So let me know. I feel there's two types of people. There's people like my brother and people like me. I'm how did you get mum's car? Where is she? Does she have a car? Is she driving your car? When are you giving the car back? I want every detail to everything. While my little brother is whatever. I think maybe because he has such a highly strung big sister that he's I can just relax because shit's going to be figured out. And if she's signed off on something, she knows that that's the way it's going to be. But I don't know. I think that's so funny. I always think back to that. So I'm such a nosy, I want to know things. Tell me why. Like I'm always but why girl? Like, why is this happening? Why are you doing it like that? I want to know the reasoning. And once I know the reasoning, it's totally fine. And like, even with like, I think it's a good mindset to have, I tell ya. But like, with everything in life, I'm like, okay, but why have you done it like that? And I think when you can understand someone's why, or like, not in like a bigger, more important sense now, I guess. Like, I think everything, if you can understand someone's motives, or like why they might have been behaving that way, or why they've done it like that, or why they made that choice, like if you can kind of understand and put yourself in their position and like understand why they could have done that choice, like everything is just so much easier. So like, if I don't know, I've always been someone that's just like, why? And I guess because I've asked so many questions, my dad was always like, because I said so, Dad. Like, did anyone else have those where it's like, oh no, that's just happening because I said so? I'm like, that used to annoy the shit out of me, because I'm not a because I said so kind of person. I'm like, no, tell me the logical reason why. Stop, I sound so annoying. But like, usually it's in my own head. Like, I'm not always like, why to people. But like, if I can understand someone, I love asking questions and getting to know people and figuring things out, and like understanding why this may happen, and like trying to improve on it in my own personal life, or like understanding someone else's situation, so that I can just show empathy. And like, I don't know, I don't just like look at life and go, oh, Lexy picked me up in this random car, like whatever, like I don't really care. Like, I'm like, tell me why. And I think that relates back to like prisoners and stuff as well. And like prisoners, no, but like there's people in my family that are like, criminals are criminals and criminals are bad, and murderers are murderers and rapists are rapists, and like those people are bad, which like inherently, yes, like that is obviously the case. But I find it really interesting. And I think like, I was even watching like a Kardashian episode last week, if you guys watched the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which is such a random connection. But like, I think everyone, like, there's some people that are just like actually evil people, and like there's nothing that you could do or say or coach them through. Like someone like Ted Bundy, where like, I don't really know that case very well. I don't know why I've brought that up. But some people are just like evil people, and some people, they have something in their brain that they just are inherently bad people, and like they go to jail, they serve something, and they come out and they come from a privilege, but like whatever. But there's a lot of people that do really bad things because they were put in that position to do so. And I had a really interesting chat with a guy, an older guy actually, a guy that fell off a horse, and then I had to drive him back to his house. Random. Sorry, there's a huge bike that's just driven past the window for the audio listeners. But there was a guy that fell off a horse, and we had this really interesting chat about like criminals, and being like, it's so easy from a privileged position to be like, oh, I would never do those things. I'd never make those choices. But like, if you lived their life and had the upbringing that they had, and had the influences that they had, or were led to make a decision, like, I don't think all of the people that are in prison are like inherently bad people. I think that they have had a really shitty situation, or been put in a really shitty situation, and thought that they were doing something right for them or something. I don't know. It's specific to every case, and every case is different. But I think it's interesting to understand and unpack why someone had made those decisions. And you can kind of hear a bit of me saying that, like with the Ruby Frankie thing, like last week, which is like a horrible, horrible situation. And she's a nasty person, and she like, it's awful what she's done. But if you kind of unpack like how she got to that point, yes, there's like the controlling element, and yes, she's like clearly a narcissist, and I know that word gets thrown out, but I think lots of people on like TikTok, and like lots of people have like professionals have been like, that's her, like she's not a nice person. But like I could see how she got to that point, and maybe if she was stopped at some point, or there was, you know, like she was led down a bad path because of her environment. And I think you can, I don't know what I'm saying. How did I get here? But like, yeah, honestly, can you tell I've got all these built up? I don't know. Let me know if that made any sense. I'm not sure. I think a good segue to that is the movie Adolescence the series Adolescence on Netflix. Has anyone seen that? Because I feel like that's kind of the same vibe, where like someone does something wrong, and then you kind of understand like the influence I don't know, I haven't seen it, but then like understand like what led him to make those decisions and the influence and the like, you unpack that to be like, okay, well, how do we change that? I haven't seen it. I'm really nervous to see it. I had people messaging me being like, talk to us about it, like in the podcast, please explain like your thoughts and feelings. And if you guys actually do want to see that, please let me know, because I actually will do it. I probably will go away and watch, because there actually has been lots of people in my DMs being like, talk about this. And I'm like, okay, all right. I don't know. I'm not a Criminal Minds kind of like, I'm not a scary movie kind of girl. Like, I'm a rom-com, romantic comedy, like comedy maybe, romance maybe, a bit of both is always perfect. I'm not like a drama or like a criminal show, because I just get so into it that I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's all consuming, and it like takes up so much of my mental capacity. And when my life's so stressful online, it's kind of easy to just like, and just watch it. Everyone falls in love and it's a happy ending. And like, I don't know, I love those movies. Or like Hannah Montana, or like movies that you like, I've watched a million times that I just know that make me really happy. So like I know that watching Adolescence is gonna like, I think I want to watch it. Like if you haven't seen it, like me, I can't give spoilers because I don't have spoilers, but I think it's about a kid who kills a classmate who's a female, and he's from like a normal home, and he's got like parents that love him, and like you would go, well, how has this person done this thing? And then you kind of go back and you figure out like what things he has access to online and what he's able to watch and consume, and also how he idolizes his dad like most little boys do. And his dad was never like a overly violent or malicious person, from what I can hear. I haven't seen it, but he like does things that like people might write off as like not normal behavior, but like, I don't know, like something about him breaking down a shed or something, like out of anger, and like directed it towards the mum, but like never hit her. But like the little boy's watching that treatment and watching how society treats women, and like him having a gauge on the world. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Obviously, it sounds so up my alley. It's insane. I know it's not a happy ending, and everyone's being like, it's really dark and like serious, but like I do want to watch it. So maybe next week we can go into that in more detail when I have seen it. I'm just going off what you guys have all sent me, little clips and screenshots, or like things that you like, voice memos that you've all sent me, which I love and adore so much. So maybe I will dive into that next week. Let's see how I go. I come back next week, I'm like, hi guys. Oh, it's so depressing. No, I think I will enjoy it, or like gain something from it. Maybe not enjoy is probably not the right word, but I have seen some really cool things. Like the Her news that we kind of covered from it was that like people have actually gained a lot from it. And something in the UK is wanting to put more education into schools about masculinity and like toxic masculinity and the influence and stuff. So like the knock-on effects and like how big the show has gotten, I think is so cool. And yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm selling myself as I speak, but I just want to say I have heard your recommendations and I've seen it, and I'm just a bit scared to watch it, but I definitely will if that's what you want. And I'm like getting braver. Like the fact that I watched the Gabby Petito documentary and the Ruby Frankie one, and my TikTok is still full of like all of the things about like I'm in the world. Like I think we can watch it, but I'll let you know how I go. What else has been happening? Oh, I've been getting a lot of DMs and questions and conversations around questions and conversations. I've been getting a lot of like people asking me about like what it is that I actually do, which I thought was such an interesting question, and something that I'm like, oh, like I actually don't get to talk to you guys about that, which I think is so interesting, because like when you live the day and you kind of do it, you kind of just get used to just being in the midst of like being in your job. So I wanted to talk about like what it is that I actually do was one of the points I wanted to discuss today, because I'm like, let's do it. So can you tell I'm like here, there and everywhere today? I'm like, oh, I'm trying to like, yeah. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm just like frazzled from the morning I've had. Anyway, so I'm Lexy, as you know. I'm the host of the podcast, which is self-explanatory. Here we are, podcast, love it, live it. Honestly, I love the podcast so much because I feel like there's just like, we've got like the Her fam, like the app and the podcast and the newsletter, and like most of the audience like kind of streams in from the app and then kind of tunnels out into like the different avenues as well. But like the podcast is so personal. I feel like we're just like best friends having a chat. Like it's that deeper level of connection. I think more of that like personal relationship, like you and me, rather than it being about like the app or like current events or news or celebrities. Like it's just you and me having a chat. So I don't know, I hold the her fam that listen to the podcast like really, really close. I keep like clenching my fists. I'm like, love you guys so much. But yeah, I just love you guys. So I obviously have the podcast, which just feels like fun. Like this doesn't feel like work to me at all. It just feels like my friends and I having a chat, which is so great. But I also have my app, which I created at 17 called Her Help, which I literally created because I just had so many questions that I wanted the answers to. And I didn't have a place where I could have those questions answered. And more than that, I just wanted a community of girls. Like, if you can hear, I have a brother, I have a dad, I have a stepdad, I have 2 stepbrothers. Like I obviously have a beautiful mum, but like I have always craved like having a sister. And I guess I've always been really jealous of like people that have sisters. And it kind of got to such an extreme point where like I had a fascination about twins. Okay, this is the most cringy thing that I could ever say. So like this is a safe space, you and I together. But like I love twins. Like I was obsessed from the age of probably 13 to 14, 12 to 14 maybe, where when Musically was like at its peak and like people like Lisa and Lena from Musically, the blonde twins, if you know Musically, you'll know them. Also like Brooklyn and Bailey and like the Meshka twins. Like I was like on the internet, and I was just like, that is so cool to have someone that's just like you, that just you do life together. And they were genuinely best friends, and they just were lucky enough to like just do like, how fucking cool to have like someone like you that you could just like hang out with and just like it's a built-in best friend, and like someone that understands you better than anyone else because they live with you. They're not just a friend, they like have been raised in the same way you have, like, and they look like you, and people are always like, oh my God, like the 2 of them. Like I was always so jealous of having someone like that. And I think that also came from being bullied growing up and being like, oh, I don't have anybody that can relate to me. So then I kind of maybe fixated on the fact that there were people that had, no matter what they were going through, like someone that would always support them, not just a best friend that could kind of go in between friend groups or like could, you know, switch and change. Like I felt like a twin was just so cool because you could just do everything together. So I had this thing about twins. I don't know how this is related to the app, but I don't know what we got here. I think just like that vibe of like feeling lonely and feeling like I wanted someone that I could talk to. And before I made the app, it's so funny, this is such a secret, but my Her Help app account, I changed to be the Her Help app account because I'd run out of account space. I made too many accounts, but it used to be a Musically account, which got changed to be the Her Help app TikTok account, but the Musically account used to be called Lexy and Lucy. And I used to create videos that I was a twin on Video Star. Does everyone remember Video Star? I don't know how I got up to this point. How did I get here? This is so weird. This is what the podcast is for. It's like these very in-depth personal secrets that only my closest friends know and you guys. But I made Video Star videos of me, but there were 2 of me, and we would dance to like Lisa and Lena did, like video dancing to TikToks, but it would be, I'd film it twice. And I'd like lock the lighting so the video would stay the same. And then I'd like cut in between, and then there'd be 2 of me, and we'd sit and have conversations and we'd chat and we'd like dance around with videos. And I grew that. I had a few thousand followers, which like felt insane to me, to the point that people were like engaging with my videos on TikTok, being like, or on Musically, being like, this is Lexy, this is Lucy, like Lexy's on the left, like Lucy's on the right, which is so cool. So I've just always like loved finding, I don't know, sense of community, finding like, I don't know, I've always been the little lonely girl, I think is the issue. And always just like craved like having a sister support, or like if there's an issue you can just text someone and there's no judgment. And I'm also from the mindset, I guess, where like when I talk about the app and I talk about doing this, like I want to preface that like I have the most beautiful supportive family around me, and I now have like some of the most incredible friends that like I will have for life. But I guess where the inspiration for the app came was kind of before I had these like solid incredible friendships that I do now. It was kind of the time where just everything's a bit up in the air, like being a teenager is really hard, and I didn't really have a place to go. And I, wanted to find somewhere. And I love the like what's on your iPhone videos. Like those were the coolest videos ever, where like you always just found like new exciting apps to download, which I think about often. It makes me smile, is like how obsessed with those videos I was. Like I watched all of the popular what's on my iPhone videos. Like I can guarantee you that I've seen them, and I was so interested in like downloading all the apps and like seeing what was on everyone's phone. And I think it was around that time where like kind of I'd gotten to the peak of all of that, and I was like, why don't I make my own app? I'm like constantly looking for all these apps that could do what I want, and like I kind of want a community and a safe space for women, and like just someone where I can just hop on and be like, hey, I'm having a really bad day, or like, oh, my boyfriend's broke up with me, like I need advice on this. And like there'll be girls around that can like help me and like be on the app. And I think it started, I was on lots of Facebook groups. I think that's kind of where it like that, I was like, I'd love a space like that. And I was like, where's a space like that? If there's no app like that, where else can I go? And there's Facebook groups of like girls Facebook groups. I know that there's like town ones. Like I have like a WA, Western Australia group, girls group that I'm in. And when I lived in different places, I'm like joining all these different groups of girls. And like, those are good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I can see the value of those 100%. But like, I could see people that I knew posting on them, and like would get notified that they'd posted on this group. And some of the things they were saying, I'm like, oh, like, they don't want me looking at this, like it's just like, I didn't feel comfortable posting like, hi, I'm going through a breakup, I'm having a really hard time, like I'm feeling really low on myself, if I knew that my 1,000 friends on Facebook were going to all see that. Like that's such a scary, like that's not, I want to ask for help to see if someone else in that, like if I wanted to reach out to Barbara, like I would have messaged her. Like I don't need, like I know my friends and my circle, but like sometimes you need that support from someone that's like actually been there and done that. And I felt like Facebook groups scare me a lot. And like I heard lots of people's stories about Facebook groups as well, of like I had a lady be like, my ex-husband's new girlfriend posted saying she had a really hard time, and within 2 minutes of her posting that post, she had 3 messages from her friends who had all screenshot that post and sent it to her, being like, look, your ex-husband's new girlfriend's really struggling. And she was like, I felt so wrong about that. But she's like, I can see how valuable your app is, because it's just separate from all the social media like craziness, which I totally, like that's the whole vibe. Like I didn't feel safe like posting on like a group chat that I knew my my ex-boyfriend's like sisters are in and things like that. Like it's just like, it's not the vibe. I think that social media can be so connected that sometimes it's really nice to just have a place that you can go separate to that. So I'm sure you've all heard the origin story before. Sorry to ramble on about that. But like I hopped on YouTube at 17 and searched up how to make an app and launched my app that I made in my bedroom with no code and just like figuring it all out within 6 months. And I actually didn't tell anyone that that was what I was doing, because like that's such a scary thing. Like I know some people on their like entrepreneur journeys are like telling people constantly, like the amount of people that come up to me and being like, I've got this business idea, or I really want to start this, or like I'm working on this. And like, that's so good that they like, I don't know, have that goal and that vision and like have that. But for me, I was like, I'm not telling a fucking soul, because how embarrassing for me to be like, I'm making this app, like, because I don't know if I can make this app. So like, I'm not going to say I'm going to make this app and then like, it's never happens. Like I'm someone that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Like if I say I'm going to be at your house at that time, I'll be at your house at that time. If I say I'm going to make sure I'm going to be at this thing, I'll make sure that I'm at this thing. Like I'm very big on my word. Like I'm like, trust that if I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be somewhere. So like if I'm like telling all these people, oh yes, I'm like making this app, like I didn't know that if I could do it or not. So I didn't want to tell people that this is what I was doing, because that sounded like insane. So I wasn't telling anyone that that's what I was doing. I was just plodding along, and I literally didn't tell anyone until I like published it to the App Store. And then when you send an app to an App Store, it's usually within 24 hours that you get like a little message. And I got an email being like, congratulations, like your app will be on the App Store within the next 24 hours. And that was like the weirdest feeling. I remember I was in bed because I'm in such a weird time zone that like when things got approved, it was about midnight for me. And I was like, oh my God, like I've got no one to tell. Like I haven't told really anyone. Like at that point, I was probably 6 months in. And when I got a little bit more confident that I knew what I was doing, I told my mum, my dad, and my boyfriend, but like that was kind of like the intimate circle, like to the point that like that midnight when I woke up that morning, I was like, I can't just launch this straight away. I've got to at least have a day to like tell my friends and family and my cousins and my aunties and uncles and nanas. So I like sent them all a message and I was like, by the way, like there's this app, like it's on the App Store, you can download it, but like I'll announce it to the world the next day, but like this is what's happening. And yeah, so I launched it, blah, blah. They were all like, what the hell? Like it kind of went around school, which is so scary. And in hindsight, like I know that like I wouldn't be making a podcast if I was still at school. Like that scares the shit out of me. And like the fact that I was so brave to like launch the app at school, because I remember the whole school then found out because we posted on Facebook and then like all of my friends kind of shared it. And like, yeah, it got around really quickly and like teachers were asking me about it and it was, it was like terrifying. And yeah, I couldn't imagine like posting what I post now. And I constantly think about this, like if I was doing the podcast or like the TikToks that I post, like if I was at school or at a university environment where I was around a bunch of people my age and I like had this like ego still, like when you're at school, you kind of have this like, oh, you know, or you're conscious. I don't know if I ever have an ego. I'm not a very ego-y person, but like you just like, you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of people that you care about what they think about you. And I think I'm so past that I'm so just, I live my life being like, is there other people around? Like I genuinely am in my own little world. I only see my mum and my dad and my stepdad and we watch Married at First Sight and then I go off and just like live in this like online world. So I think that's so good for my growth and my mindset to be like, whatever. But like even posting on Instagram stories and reels on Instagram is terrifying because I know that people in my real life are going to see that. Well, I feel like this is so like, yeah, this is easy because it's like, I know the audience is going to watch this and I know that my family don't watch this and it's just you and me having a chat. While it's like on my Instagram reels, like I literally had dinner with my nana the other day and she was like, so who's these reels? Like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, you're posting these like very concerning things. And I'm like, oh no, like, nana, it's just like, you have to say things like that to get like people interested and like that's just the thing. And she's like they're taking it on board. I don't know, I forget that like people in my real world can see it because like they probably don't all see that side. Like I'm quite a like la 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 like bubbly person, but like on TikTok it's like, okay, this is something, like it's a very short like 5-second clip usually, so it's like you're obviously not going to see my whole personality, you just see like an opinion that I have. So I think some of the time they're like, oh, like, are you okay? If I'm like, oh my God, I've had a shit day. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm sad because of my period or because I'm hormonal or because, and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like a funny thought that I had throughout the day. Like it's not, that 5-second clip is not a representation of who I am or like my whole day or life. I don't know. I just think, yeah, it's hard posting online when other people in your life see it because you're like, if you're not consuming all of it, like you just, like none of you just don't understand that that's the world. Anyway, my camera is going to go. Hang on, all right, I'm back. So my camera, again, only records for a limited amount of time. So yes, I got nervous. Everyone at school started talking about it, which was terrifying, and then ended up doing all these cool things. Like it's a super long story. It goes for 6 years, this story, but I made an app in my bedroom, which was the first. And I have had, her help will be 6 in July, which is crazy. I created when I'm 17 and I'm now 23, which is terrifying. I don't know where the time's gone, but I launched it, blah, 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 built a community of the most incredible people. And then I have her news, which is about like just I was getting so many messages, and like some of you guys were probably the OGs that actually were sending me those messages, but lots of messages about like people feeling really overwhelmed with the news, and like because our newsletter is so our app is so like about mental health and about like making sure that there's a safe space online. Like a lot of the time I was watching so many of my friends, even around me, like not realize what was happening in the world around them. And then I was getting so many messages from you guys being like there's so much news that's so negative. And I'm like, what can I do about this? Because I'm someone that loves to stay informed. Like I want to know what's happening in the world. Like as I said before, I'm a but why girl. Like I'm in the know. Like I want to know everything that's happening, and I want to be informed, and I want to be educated. And I don't know, I love like, yeah, I've not got my head in the sand, and I don't want to have my head in the sand. I want to make sure that like if there's a conversation about politics or about a global event or there's an issue somewhere else, like I want to make sure that I understand even like a base level of that. And I was watching so many of my friends around me even like wanting that, like having that same mindset, being like, I don't want to be like naive, like I want to understand what's happening around me. But I am in a position where I'm like, the news is so negative, like I'm not just going to turn on the news and listen to like the 6 people that have been stabbed today. Like that's just not the vibe. And I completely get that. And I was getting so many of those I was having so many of those conversations with you guys on the app as well, that I was like, how can I make a place where we can have like educated, informed, beautiful women, but also just, and like some of the top level, like what's going on, but like try and make it really positive, try and like fill the inbox with like the good things that are happening throughout the week. And then like women empowerment news or like women news that you need to know. And then obviously like some fun entertainment news as well, because that kind of hooks us in. Like if you tell me something about Hailey Bieber, I'm going to read it, you know, like there's, I don't know. So I really wanted to create like a really cool foster like platform for that. And I've been really, I don't know, I love the Her News. I think it's different to like that original idea of like that community, but it's like supporting the community in a different way. And it's been really, really cool. And like understanding how to like turn that newsletter into a business and stuff has been like a really eye-opening journey, and one that's been really hard. Especially when you're talking to people who like their sole focus is a newsletter business. So you go into it being like, oh, I've got this whole app on the other side of things that like isn't just a fitness app, but it's also a meditation app, and it's also a nutrition app, and it's also like a finance app, and it's a self-growth app, and it's a confidence app, and it's a big sister support app, but it's also got Be Real features for daily challenges. And it's got so much going on because life is fucking hard and there's so much going on. I'm like, I don't want to spend $12 on a meditation app, and then I don't want to spend $50 on a fitness app, and then I don't want to spend, like, it adds up so fucking quickly that I'm like, I want to make it as accessible and just like something that I would use. So like the app's there, and that's very time consuming, but I love it so much. And then the newsletter is kind of like a whole different industry and ball game, which I don't know if I think I underestimated the amount of work that the newsletter was going to be, but I love it. I genuinely think there's such an impact to be had on the newsletter, so I do enjoy the newsletter. And then the podcast, I don't know, I wanted to do the podcast for a while, and I was always like, oh, like, I don't know, one day I'll do the podcast. And then it got to the point where I was like, why don't I just do it now? Why don't I just make it happen? Why don't I just do it? Like, I'm sure I can dedicate an hour to have a chat with you guys once a week. So that's kind of where I'm at, is I've got my 3 little babies, which I love so much. And like day to day looks really different. I guess like that's always a question I ask someone, is like, what does your days look like? Like, how does that work? Like, what do you do in your day? And I guess my days every morning start with me going to Pilates. I love going to Pilates. And the reason I think I love it so much is because I've only done Pilates, I think I've almost done Pilates for 2 years, which is crazy, every morning for 2 years. But before Pilates, because I kind of work for myself and I have this business and I kind of pick my own hours, like I got into a really low point, I think, with it. And I think there's been a lot of like ups and downs being your own boss, and like really high moments and really exciting and so rewarding. And like my mum always says to me, she's like, when you have a good day, like your good days are insane. Like it's a girl coming up to you being like, wow, like you've literally saved my life, or a girl coming up to you and crying because like of how much of an impact you've had on them. And like, she's right, like those moments are insane. But I think the things that I really struggle with is like, there's no one there being like, Lexy, this is what you have to do next, or this is what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing, or like, get up, you've got to be doing this. So like when you're a young person and you're figuring out what the fuck life is and what you should be doing anyway, like trying to manage yourself is really, really hard. Of like, you've got to be sending this many emails today. You've got to make sure that you've put this content out. You've got to make sure that you're doing all these things. And like, you've got to do this by this point. And like, it's really, really hard. And I think being like, even like to the point of like, the reason I love Pilates so much and I get up every morning and go straight to Pilates is before I did that, I would sit in my bed and I'd wake up and I'd grab my phone from my nightstand and I'd see what emails came in, or I'd see a thing, whatever, and I'd sit and I'd start working the second I woke up. But I would sit then on bed and I'd sit on my bed and be working on my phone until like 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'd have my laptop next to my bed and I'd just put my laptop out and I'd just start working before I'd even like woken up or brushed my teeth or fucking sat up. Like, I just got straight into work, and that's just so unmotivating when you're like, well, what's the point of getting up? Like, I have no reason to get up. I'll just sit here and do it here. And that's fun every now and then, like if you can just have a chilled day. But like, if that's like your life, like it can feel really lonely and isolating, and just like, then you go through your whole day and you're like, I've not been outside, I've not spoken to anyone, like I've literally just laid in bed all day. Like, it's just like, wasn't good for my mental health. So being able to get up and go to Pilates in the morning is like a must for me now, because it like moves my body. It gets me like woken up and excited for the day. It allows me to get out of the house, have somewhere to go. It allows me to like see people, smile at people, wave at people. I just love that so much. So, and I just enjoy Pilates in general. If you are new to working out, like I'd give Pilates a look. I'm just this turned into a Pilates ad. This podcast is sponsored by Pilates. No, but like, yeah, give it a go. Like, it's so fun, and it just like, it's a good way to like move your body without like being overly scared. Like, I don't know if I could do a CrossFit class or like go and do something so physical like that, but this is kind of like, there's a lot of movements where you're just laying down, like going like this, and it like, yeah, works you out, makes you feel like you're ready for the day, and it's hard and it's challenging and it's good. Anyway, I've literally spent 10 minutes talking about Pilates. No, but I get up, I go to Pilates, and then I come back and I'll check my inboxes, look at my emails. And then I, like this morning, for example, I hopped on a call with someone that's keen to see if they want to like sponsor either the app or work on like events with me, or like I'm always having meetings throughout the day. And then I've set some time aside to film the podcast. And then after this, I'll go and edit the podcast and put the episode up. Other days I'm working on her news, like Wednesday, her news goes out. So I'll spend the day like creating the her news thing, and then that'll go out. And then I have some more meetings tomorrow as well about possible partnerships. And then I'm always checking in on the app. And then I'm also posting on TikTok at least 5 times a day on my personal account. And then I'm also posting twice a day on the her news account. And then I'm also posting at least once a day on my her help TikTok, hopefully more. I've just posted before this as well. So there's always things for me to be doing. And I've noticed that like writing a list is really helpful as well, of me being like, this is what you should be doing in your day. Because I've got so many things that I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like I could sit and film TikToks all day because that's so fun and it brings in audiences. And then people are like, wow, Lexy, like, and like the validation of that's great. But like the things that need to be doing, like making sure that like I'm uploading content to the AI so that it can scan through the app to make sure that suggested sessions work, so that they're suggesting like things that are a little bit more boring and data orientated. Like, yeah, I need to focus on those as well. So there's so much that goes on. Oh, also, well, I was going to think about like anything exciting that happened during the week with my work is I have a partnership coming up with Printify, which is sponsoring the podcast. But I actually wanted to show you some of the bits that I got because it's so exciting. Like this isn't part of the app. This is just genuinely me wanting to show you how exciting merch is, because I did her help merch and like paid for samples and like designed it all and like had this whole thing ready about a year ago. And if you follow me, you would have seen that was the case. And I had all these stuff and I got the samples and I was really excited, and I spent thousands of dollars on samples and designs and like had it all ready to go. And the samples arrived and I was like, oh no, like these are scratchy, these are awful. Like I'm not selling these to people because they just feel awful. And like I don't know, I'm really conscious that like I value people's money so much. Like I'm not someone that just spends money here, there and everywhere. Like I'm a saver, not a spender. So coming from a mindset of like, I want to make sure that if I'm ever selling a product that I actually genuinely love it and like feel like that's worth, I don't know, like I'm not just going to flog off products, be like, buy this like scratchy shirt for $100. Like that's not me at all. Like I'm like, if it's not perfect, like my audience and the people that are watching are so valuable to me that I don't want to wear that shirt. Like I'm not going to make someone else wear that shirt. So I've been on this really weird like downfall with the merch, and I kind of stopped it for a while. And then Printify reached out to me, and then we had lots of chats, and I was like checking the quality and did lots of reviews. Anyway, they got back to me, and we've got Her Help merch arrived yesterday. This is the Her Help hat. I'm going to do like a full, you'll see it, but like, isn't this like the cutest thing ever? Like it says, I am her. And on it, it says, I am her, powerful, beautiful, strong, and kind. Because like, the girls are her. And then I also got it in these two spread out behind me. Honestly, my bed's a mess, but it's very real. I got it in this pink little jumper as well in the red, which is so cute and actually so soft. And the first thing that mum said to me when I put it on was like, wow, that looks like such good quality. And I was like, yeah. And then also in the white. So I get to do some exciting things like design merch, and I'm chatting with designers about like redesigning a bit of the like her new stuff. Anyway, I don't know if this is interesting. I could chat business for ages, and I could chat like the things that I'm doing for so long, but I don't know if anyone cares enough about it. Like I'm like, this is so exciting and fun for me, but like you may not care about that. But that's kind of like a day in the life of like what a usual day in my life looks like. I also go out to see my horse every day, which you'll probably see if you follow my Instagram stories. I have a horse. She's 31. She's the best. I go out and feed her every single day. And then I work, go out and feed the horse before it gets dark, come back from the horse, watch some Married at First Sight or like whatever show we're watching with the fam, have some dinner, and then I'll come back into my room and start posting again on TikTok, because like my time zone's different. Like my main audience is in the US. So when it's like 11 p.m. my time, it's 11 a.m. their time. So like I post. So like if I was to post now, which is 2:00 in the afternoon, it's 2 a.m. for my American girlies. So like no one's watching TikTok, or some people are. But anyway, there's this whole schmozzle thing. But that's basically my little days in the life. Let me know if you want me to do like what I did for work before, because I think a lot of the time people just sit there and be like, oh, well, she started this business at 17, like she's doing these things and she's got all these things. But like that was definitely not the case. I've had so many jobs. I've worked in retail, I've worked in hospitality, I've worked in like administration, I was a jewelry, like selling like expensive jewelry. Like I've done so many things. I've worked as like a support worker almost. Like I've done so many things because, oh my God, I literally worked in social media marketing for an agency. Like there's so many things that I've done and like been employed by people with as well. Like I think people just assume that I've just left school and just went straight to this, but like it definitely wasn't the case. I think a lot of that was me being like a 17-year-old, and as you can hear, like I'm very conscious about like people spending money on things for me. Like, I don't know, I'm like, don't buy me presents, don't buy me birthday presents, like don't pay for this app that I spend my whole life on, like I'm very, very conscious about what people buy from me. So I think when I set up the app, and even still getting into that now, is like, how do I make sure that it's financially sustainable for me, which I'm getting so much better at, don't worry. But like, yeah, it's definitely been a learning curve. So during the learning curve phase, like I needed to put fuel in my car and I needed to feed my horse. And I'm lucky enough that I got to live with my parents for a lot of that. But also like I moved out of home at 17 and moved in with my boyfriend, and like I had 3 jobs at once and doing the app. Like there's always like, and I'd love to chat to you more about like that side of my life maybe as well, if you want to hear like how I got into doing what I'm doing now, because it's kind of, yeah, it's not just been like, oh, this is my app and this is my day-to-day life. Like there's definitely been, lots of opportunities and learnings, which I'm so grateful for. I'm so glad that I got the chance to like learn these things and have these opportunities, because I think it just makes you a better person. Like I feel like everyone needs to work in hospitality. I think that would mean that no one would be rude to waiters or kitchen staff, because like the stress, like I genuinely don't know if there's anything more stressful than like working in a fast-paced kitchen and like go, like order after order after order and different changes and things like that builds a person. And like I worked in a fish and chip shop for 4 years. So like I get like the high pace and then like the chilled fun. And like it's just such a cool when you have everyone around your age and everyone's fun. Like I think everyone needs to do that. But yeah, definitely didn't just like pop out here and be like, oh, look at this like cool thing that I have. And no, it's definitely been a journey. But anyway, let's get into some dilemmas. I hope that was like insightful in any way. And I can chat more about my other employment life, but let's get on to some dilemmas. A quick break in the episode to talk about something I know you're going to love. If you've ever dreamed of starting your own merch line, side hustle, or creating something totally you, Printify is your secret weapon. With Printify, you can design and create products without dealing with inventory, shipping, or upfront costs. Just upload your design, pick from hundreds of high quality products, and boom, your online store is ready to go. They handle the printing and shipping so you can focus on growing your brand. I personally have some merch samples on our way from Printify for her, which I'm so excited about and I can't wait for you to see. So head over to printify.com and sign up for free to start creating today. That's printify.com because your idea deserves to break into the world. Now back to the episode. Dilemma 1. I have been single for the majority of my life with a few failed relationships scattered among the years. I have 2 male best friends in separate friend groups. I've known them all for 11 years and another for 4. We happen to be the only 3 single ones left as we approach our 30s. When out drinking, my friends constantly try to get me to date either one of them and always say people always tell you to marry your best friend, to the point where I get irritated and turn off by the idea. However, I truly do view both of them as best friends. Both are great guys, dependable, funny, kind, loving. Any girl would be lucky to date either one of them. Both have made comments in the past that they were interested, but it's only been in a joking manner while drinking. I personally could never picture a romantic, intimate relationship with either of them. Am I wrong for not attempting to pursue it? Is it true that when you know, you know? I'm just being stubborn by entering with either of these options. Have you ever had best male friendships as dating partners? Has anyone been in the same situation that you know of, Lex? Oh, I get this pressure a lot, to be fair. Like, I have male friends that, like, I would die for. Like, they are my favorite people in the world. And I definitely have people in my life that are like, you're going to date them? Like, when's the wedding? Like, I guarantee that, like, one day you'll be married. And it's like, oh, no, like, they're just genuinely, like, as you said, some of my favorite people and anyone would be lucky to date them and they're, like, the best. But, like, I just see those people as my friends. Like, I just love them as friends. And, like, it's like, they can all fuck off. Like, I think that, like, you can't, like, if something changes and you're in a like, you look at them one day and you're like, oh, like, actually, I love this person so much. And then, like, oh, I actually could see, like, things can change. But, like, if you guys are just friends, like, don't ruin a friendship by forcing yourself into, like, pursue something or see them romantically because you're getting older when you didn't previously. Like, no. Like, you're totally fine. Just keep doing your thing. There'll be the right guy out there. You don't want to risk losing those friendships of, like, 11 years, 4 years to just, like, try and pursue something because you don't really want to, but, like, the people around you are saying it. No. You're totally fine. Hey, am I the asshole? A friend of mine turned a big milestone age and I planned this big all-day experience with a bunch of their friends. I spent a considerable amount of money and my own time for the all-day event. I spent more than I would have on my own or even my spouse's birthday. Also in attendance, we all wore matching colours, which I purchased. Now I'm being told by others that my friend is upset I didn't get her a gift. I was also told the friend is saying I'm so weird because none of the friends who I did not know spent the night at my house after the all-day event. Am I the asshole for not buying a gift on top of everything I've already done? No. No, you're not an asshole. Your friend's almost the asshole for not, like, your friend's an asshole. Like, if my friends had planned anything, I'd be like, thank you so much. Like, what? Like, get you a gift on top of what you're already doing. Like, that is the gift, babe. Like, all these hours and time I've spent into this. Like, I remember for my 21st birthday, I think it was, I asked my friend if she could help me with like cushions and like to help me make a platter. And we both chipped in for the platter, and like she helped me with the cushions, and like I asked her not to get me a gift and she didn't. And I'm like, thank you. Like, the gift, she didn't not get me a gift. She literally helped me set up my birthday, and that was so good, and like made the platter perfect and like made some cupcakes. Like, that was so beautiful and thoughtful and kind. And I still think about that and like cherish that. It's like, what do you mean? Like, no, she's an asshole. Like, I actually don't know if I could have people like that in my life. I'd be like, do you not value anything? Oh, no, you're not the asshole. Okay, dilemma 2. I need advice on getting a dog with my boyfriend. We've been together for about 3 years now and we don't live together, but I'm over at his place often. He's allergic to animals, so we would need a doodle or some sort. There has been a few options for me to get a doodle, but have turned them down due to him not thinking it was curly enough or not good timing. I feel ready for a dog and have been for about a year now. Do you think, with being together for a few years, that if it should be a joint decision or something that I really want and I should do it on my own? Either way, I just want one to be taken care of. I just have mixed feelings about it. Should I suss this out, talk to him about it, or do it by myself? You sound like me in the sense of being like, oh, this is something I want and this is what's gonna, like, this is gonna happen. Like, am I just gonna do it on my own, or like, am I gonna include this person? This sounds like something I'd say. Be like, so like, do I need his fucking permission, or like, can I just get a fucking dog? You can obviously go out and get a dog, like whatever, but like, I think considering that you have been with your boyfriend for 3 years, but you don't live together, I think the first initial thing is figuring out like, what does your future look like? Like, is this person someone that you genuinely see a future with? Like, is this someone that you eventually want to marry or someone you eventually want to move in with? Because if that's the case, like, I think making sure that he's on the same page as you is really important. I think you can always be like, this is my dog. Like, I'm buying this dog. It's my dog. I don't care if you don't think it's curly enough. I like this dog. It's going to be my dog. But at the end of the day, like, dogs live for what? 12, 13, hopefully 100 years. I have an old dog, so I'm having a crisis about that at the moment. But like, dogs live for ages. So like, if you plan to spend the next 10 years with this person, like, that dog is going to be in your life for the next 10 years. So making sure that like, if you're wanting to have kids with this person or live with this person or buy a house with this person, like, that dog's coming with you. So it is a decision that really impacts his life as well. It's someone that's adding to your little family dynamic, whether it's just the two of you, adding a dog makes it 3 of you. So like, it's important that like, you're being thoughtful in that you're getting a dog that he's not allergic to and you're doing all these things. But yeah, have a chat with him and make sure that you guys are both on the same page about like what the future looks like. Because if he's sat there being like, oh, I actually don't want a dog in my future, like, that's a really hard thing. It's like, do you then break up and you choose the dog? Like, I don't know. I think it's important for you to have a conversation and make sure that your plans align. But like, you can still buy the dog whenever you want to buy it. But yeah, I'd make sure that you're considering his feelings. Because if it was the other way around and you're like, I want to spend forever with this person, but I'm allergic to cats, and then he goes out and buy a cat, it's like, well, does that cat live in our house? Like, how does that work? All right, and dilemma 3. I know I can't be the only one that struggles with this, but Okay, dilemma 3. I know I can't be the only one that struggles with this, but does anyone have a really hard time comparing themselves to their siblings? My younger sister is way more successful than me, and my family always talks about her success, and it's very mentally exhausting for me. I love my sister and am so very proud of her and think she deserves to be celebrated. It's really tough when her accomplishments are always the point of conversation in my family, and my accomplishments are never celebrated in the same way. At the point at family gatherings, we can't do more than 15 minutes without someone bringing up her success. To be fair, I don't really have nearly the same level of accomplishments to celebrate, but even when I do, it feels like it's not treated the same. I'm trying so hard not to compare myself to others, but it's really hard when I'm surrounded by it and like this when the person I'm comparing myself to is someone in my immediate family. Should I bring it up with my family? I've tried therapy, but it didn't really do much. Oh, okay, this is interesting, and a conversation that I have with my friends often, because they talk about like how they're always like, I'm so proud of you, like you're doing so well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I hate that, because I don't think they're like, I think there's certain industries and certain achievements that people can hit that people are like, wow, you are so successful, like, wow. And they talk about this achievement like it's this crazy thing, or like, I can't believe you've done that. And I think about this all the time, because I'm like, I have some of my best friends that are like qualified nurses now, or are studying nursing or doing nursing, or they're social workers, or they work really hard in like different industries that don't get the same level of like noise, I guess, that like being an entrepreneur or being an app owner does. But I think they work just as fucking hard as I do, if not harder. They're not sat on their bed at 2:00 in the afternoon filming a podcast. Like, they're out there ripping stitches off someone, or bathing people, or like helping them get into a safe home, or like they're doing fucking crazy things every single day, and they work so hard. And my friends that are studying work their asses off, and like I feel like everyone does things every day that deserve the same level of praise that I get, but because I'm doing something that maybe isn't something that you could get in a university degree, or isn't a traditional path, that everything kind of gets heightened. So I think the biggest thing to remember is like, it's just a specific thing or industry or level that someone can get to, that like doesn't mean that what you're, I don't know, like the world's crazy in that sense. Like I always think about that with like, have you seen interviews on like Jimmy Fallon or whatever, where like actors be like, I don't understand how I'm getting all this attention. Like, my brother's a surgeon, you know, like, and he's saving people's lives every day. He works his ass off, and like for some weird reason, like this industry and like being in this career means that I get all of this recognition, and people like screaming my name when I'm just like reading lines in a movie, when like my brother's saving lives. Like, I think it's a really weird worldly view to like get around, just that like things are held at different standards, and it's just like this weird fucking thing. I think you just have to remember like what you're doing, and I think it's good to be able to celebrate someone else's success. And there's so many people that, you know, there'll always be people that have more than you, but there's always going to be people that have less than you. And I get how fucking hard it would be if you're constantly being overshadowed by someone else. But I think it's important to just know that like that doesn't mean that you're not at that person's level. It just means that that person's doing something that is talked about more, and that's just society's fault. That's not necessarily anything that you're doing wrong. Because yeah, my friend's always like, wow, like you're so, and I'm like, no, like you work fucking harder than I do. It's just a different world, different industry, different things. So I don't know if that reassures you in any way, but know that like you're doing amazing things. And like, I have family members that get talked about so much way more than I do. And you just go, that's like, like whatever, like I can be content in what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing's really cool. And it doesn't matter if no one fucking says anything. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And hopefully you can get to that point when you realize that like, whoever it is, I think it's your sister, can do really cool things. People can talk about it all the time, and like some of the best things that happen are the things that happen in silence. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Her Pod. Also, I wanted to show you my dresses. That was the other thing I wanted to before I go. Bridesmaid dresses I spoke about last week. Am I recording? Yeah. I'm just chatting to myself for the last hour. This dress for the wedding, you have to see it in photos, but it's this really beautiful like silk blue dress. I'm thinking for one of the weddings. And then for the other wedding, I think I'm going to go for this like red dress with like these little straps that like come over. But that's the vision, that's the vibe. I remember saying that I was really nervous about wearing dresses last week for a wedding that's coming up, but I feel more confident. I've put them both on, and I actually am excited for you guys to see me in the dresses, so I'll let you know how that goes. Also, my merch, I'll have to keep you updated and in the loop about that kind of thing. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. I love you so much. I hope this episode would have any value and helpfulness, but I just love chatting with you guys, and I can't wait to chat with you next week. Love you. Bye.